record. Okay. Thank you everybody for joining tonight. Welcome to our Digestive Health class. My name is Kirsty Nielsen, for anybody that doesn't know me and for anybody watching back on YouTube. I am a wellness advocate with doTERRA, and I've been using these wonderful essential oils and related products to support my own and my family's health for over a year and a half now. And tonight's class is very special as we have a very special guest with us. So I'd like to introduce you all to the lovely Claire Nesbitt.
Hi everybody, lovely to be here.
Hi, Claire.
Claire is a nutritional therapist as well as a yoga teacher, and she comes highly recommended from me as Claire has been my nutritional therapist.
Oh, thank you, Kirsty. I'm really excited to find out much more about the link between digestive health and all the wonderful doTERRA oils tonight.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to just take a wee basic look into digestive health and talk a little bit about our digestive system, signs to look out for when things have gone wrong. And oh, hang on, somebody's just joining. Denise is joining us. I'll just wait for her to. Yeah. I don't know where she's gone. Oh, there she is. She's coming now. That's cool. Hi, Denise. Oh, I can move you all back. That's good. Hi, Denise. We've just started, so you've not missed anything.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, it's all right. Don't worry. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. We've just started.
Alrighty, thanks.
Yeah, so we're just going to have a basic look at digestive health, talk about digestive system, signs to look out for when things go wrong, and what we can do to fix them. There might be a little bit of toilet talk, of course, and everybody loves it really. A lot of people say they don't, but my poor dad gets traumatised every time we're around at my mum and dad's for a family dinner. It always comes up in conversation at the dinner table, and he's just like, oh, he hates it. So, yeah, but we hope just want this to be as interactive as possible. So please feel free to join in, ask any questions. It's nice for us to hear. And for everybody to hear people's experiences as well. There will be time at the end of the class for questions as well. Shouldn't be any longer than an hour, but if you do have to dive off, please just let me know and I can send you the link to my YouTube channel because I'm a YouTuber now, and you can catch up on the recording there. And we are delighted to announce that as digestive health is such a massive subject, we're going to do, Claire and I are going to do like a little mini series to hopefully cover some more, widen the kind of horizon, I suppose, and cover lots more. So
delve into things in a little bit more depth and answering some of those really juicy questions around digestive health.
Absolutely. So if there is anything that you'd like us to cover, please let us know. You can let us know tonight, or you can drop us a message if you want. So I'm just going to quickly cover, just talk about doTERRA a little bit. Some of you know that I do quite like to do this. So doTERRA derives from the Latin for gift of the earth, and they are an American company founded in 2008 by a mix of business and healthcare professionals. They all wanted to bring to the world essential oils of such a purity that nobody would need to question them. They weren't happy with how things were going in the essential oil industry, and they wanted to be that change. Because there's no governing body overlooking essential oil companies, doTERRA took it upon themselves to create their own standard. So they came up with certified pure therapeutic grade, CPTG, which you will find, yeah, it doesn't say it there. you might find on some of the bottles. It's an extremely high standard that they use to test their oil's purity and potency against. So every batch of their oil goes through a variety of different tests, both in their own labs and third-party testing as well, to ensure that the oils are pure and free from contaminants, fillers, pesticides, or any kind of synthetics. Around 70 to 80% of essential oils on the market nowadays are synthetically produced, and when we're trying to live greener, cleaner lives, it's that's not really what you want. You want to be using, if you're using essential oils as part of your wellness lifestyle, you want to know and be able to trust that they are pure. So the APRC, which is the Aromatic Plant Research Centre, they do third-party testing for doTERRA, and they did some tests a while ago. They tested 50 different oils from different companies, and so they were testing the purity of them, and there was only 3 that came back consistently pure. One of them obviously was doTERRA, which means that there was 47 others which weren't, and these are companies that they're selling their oils as pure, so an essential oil only needs to be something like 5% pure essential oil for it to be sold as pure. So it's quite frightening that there's so many companies out there getting away with this, really. doTERRA are so passionate about ensuring their oils are nothing but the best. They're fully transparent as well. There's a website called Source to You, which you can put in the batch number. So on the bottom of the bottles, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, there's an expiry date on the bottom of the bottle, and there's also a little batch number, and you can put that in on Source to You, and it brings up the information for that oil. Sorry, somebody else is just joining us. Where am I? So the plants, so I'm going to talk about sourcing now. The plants that the oils come from are grown and harvested in their own natural environment, which is where they grow best and free from any kind of pesticides. Just going to wait for this lady to join us.
Yeah. So during the lunch, Monica say I can create a survey, like the gift.
Hi, Anne.
Gift, and use that survey for all the elevators. So I'm gonna be super.
Okay. Yeah, so the plants are all grown in their own natural habitat, which means they're free from pesticides, and they're going to, that's where they grow best. And this is super important. There's so many factors that come into play when you're looking for a plant to have grown optimally. So the correct temperature, the climate, the soil, time of day that it's harvested, these all have an impact on the composition of an essential oil. doTERRA deal directly with the farmers and distillers as well to ensure that there's no chance of any kind of contamination along the way. I'm just going to touch briefly on a couple of initiatives that doTERRA run, which are Co-Impact Sourcing and Healing Hands Foundation. Co-impact sourcing is an initiative that doTERRA set up to help them seek out global locations and communities that just need a wee bit of a kind of helping hand to break free from poverty, while sourcing and producing the purest essential oils. When sourcing the plants for their essential oils, doTERRA are also looking for villages and communities that are in need of a little extra support. They don't actually own any of the land that the plants come from. They go in and they work with the community, so they go in and they'll build infrastructure, they see what that little community needs. They work with the people, they embrace their knowledge of the land and use that, train them when needed, and encourage the harvesters and growers to set up little cooperative groups, which allows them to share the benefits as a community. And they also ensure that people are treated and paid fairly, which means better livelihoods for many families to allow a better quality of life. There's some really lovely sourcing stories or behind the bottle videos on YouTube that just kind of highlight the work that doTERRA do in these areas. One that kind of stands out to me is Vetiver. If you have a wee look for that, it's just amazing. The work that doTERRA have done in that community, but that's what they're doing throughout the world. It's amazing. And also the other initiative that I wanted to touch on is the Healing Hands Foundation. So this charity has a global impact again. They strive to empower communities and help them globally, across the world, help them become self-reliant. So they operate projects. So OUR, Operation Underground Railroad, is one of the many projects that they're part of. And this project gathers experts to work together and bring an end to child sex trafficking, which is obviously, it's not a very nice thing to have to think about, but the work that doTERRA and all these people are doing to support this it's amazing. It's very heartwarming. And also wellness advocates such as myself can fundraise for the Healing Hands Foundation, and doTERRA will match every penny which we raise. So that's the introductions done, so I'm now going to get onto the class, get onto the juicy bits. So what is digestion? Digestion is the process of breaking down food into smaller molecules that can easily be absorbed by our body. Digestive health takes into account our full digestive system, which starts in our mouth and goes all the way down to our colon. Our digestive tract is divided into two different sections. So there's our upper gastrointestinal tract comprising of our mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, and duodenum. Is that right, Claire?
The duodenum, yep. I know there's a few tongue twisters.
So when I was doing some research for my class, I actually learned, I was quite surprised to read about the pharynx being talked about as part of the digestive tract. I always thought it was part of the respiratory system, but it's involved in digestion, so it helps when you're swallowing food, which I find quite interesting.
We all often forget that this part is all connected to everything else that's down here. So we'll have a chat about oral health later. But yeah, quite often people, when we talk about having issues with the gut, we automatically think kind of stomach and intestines, but actually there's a whole world of it going on before we even get down to that bit. So yeah, it's really interesting when you start thinking what the actual full digestive system involves.
It's super interesting. Yeah, because like you say, you always just immediately think of your gut, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
So there's our lower gastrointestinal tract as well, which comprises of most of our small intestine and our large intestine. The small intestine is made up of 3 parts, or that one that you said.
Back to the jejunum. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, our large intestine consists of, I don't even know how to pronounce this one either. Is it cecum? C-E-C-U-M.
Yeah, cecum. Yeah.
Cool.
There's a valve there too. Yeah.
And the appendix, the colon, and the rectum.
Yeah, that lovely sphincter that right at the end that everyone forgets about. I'm going there. I'm talking bum holes. I'm going there. It's a very important part. We can't forget it.
So as soon as we look at food, and obviously even more so when we start eating, our body starts producing, so that's our digestive system kicking in. Our body starts producing saliva, which is obviously a liquid that our body produces to moisten our food and make it easier to chew and swallow.
We also, just to weigh in there, Kirsty, we also have our first digestive enzyme in our saliva. So one of the things that the saliva actually has in it is an enzyme to start breaking down the food. So that digestive process, that breaking down, actually starts in the mouth. It's not even just when everything gets to the stomach and the stomach acid and the digestive enzymes, it actually starts in the mouth.
Cool. Once we've chewed our food, it obviously passes down our esophagus to our stomach, where it's further broken down by stomach acid and other enzymes. And then after being broken down further there, it enters our small intestines. And this is where most of the absorption of nutrients happens. After passing through small intestine, it carries on to the large intestine, which is where the water is absorbed before it carries on to our rectum.
Yeah, and that's where most of our gut bacteria, so we call them the microbiome. It's basically like a world inside our colon, so that large intestine where we have all of our bacteria, our viruses, our yeasts, molds and parasites, but the majority of them are in that large intestine. So that's where all the fiber gets broken down. So yeah, if you are having digestive discomfort and things like gas, it's your large intestine that's having a problem with all the fiber attempting to be broken down, and all the gases being produced.
So we're going to talk about oral health.
Yeah.
Oral health is a huge part of our gut and digestive health, as Claire was saying, as whatever is in our mouth is either going to be absorbed in our bloodstream or it's going to travel down to our gut when we swallow. Excuse me. People say that our eyes are the window to our soul. Well, our tongue and mouth can be the window to our digestive health. We can get so many clues from our tongue about our digestive health. For example, the body of the tongue itself, the colour and the texture of it can indicate the overall health of our organs. The colour and texture of any coating that you might have on your tongue can signify some sort of gut imbalance, the presence of toxins, or perhaps you're maybe not digesting food very well, which can cause a build-up of yeasts.
The tongue is fascinating. Quite often with my clients, my nutritional therapy clients, obviously everything's been online and through Zoom or photos at the moment. I've been asking them, can you send me a picture of your tongue? And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, just stick your tongue out and send me a photo, because it really can tell you a huge amount, whether you are deficient in certain vitamins and minerals, whether you're anemic, whether you're having large intestine problems. If you've got that coating, that definitely tells you you've got an imbalance in the bacteria, because just as Kirsty said, every time you swallow, so if you've got a really nasty community of bacteria in your mouth, every time you swallow, you're basically seeding the community of bacteria that's in that large intestine. So you're just sending more bad bacteria down if you've got a really nasty bacteria community in the mouth. So you want to start making sure that this microbiome is healthy so that the one lower down is as well. But the tongue is fascinating. So yeah, I get sent lots of pictures of tongues.
It's funny.
I know you don't want to see my gallery on my phone. It's lots of tongues.
Okay, so Candida, this lives in our body in small amounts, and normally it's kept under control by the good bacteria, or the good guys, as Claire likes to call them.
Yep.
And it doesn't cause a problem. And this balance, however, can be disrupted by factors such as poor diet. So a diet high in refined carbs or sugar.
Yeast. So Candida is a yeast, and yeast loves sugar, and in the body carbohydrates are just broken down to sugar. So carbohydrates are just lots of sugar molecules all put together, and then when they're digested they're just all kind of chopped up back down to the base sugar molecules. Yeast throws a party when you have sugar. So if anyone's seen a white coating like on the back of their tongue, that's a Candida albicans. It's a white colour of yeast that's overgrown on the tongue. You can have that in the gut as well, and for women you can also have thrush, or it can also exist on the skin. So if you've got hot, moist bits, maybe armpits or under breasts as well, women tend to suffer from skin yeast infections too. So just because the yeast is in one place, so whether that's in the gut or thrush or in the mouth, it can get everywhere. It travels throughout the body. So yeah, every time you're eating that piece of cake or that chocolate bar, sorry guys, I know we were talking about this earlier, if you've got a yeast overgrowth, you're just feeding it more. And just as Kirsty said, it's in our community of bacteria, that gut microbiome anyway, and if you start eating lots of sugar every day, all day, you will build up your community to have more of that yeast in it, to the point where it starts causing you a problem. So sugar may taste amazing, but yeast loves it too. So yeah, in a long-term diet plan, you don't want to be eating a lot of sugar, because you definitely don't want to be getting the problems that yeast gives you.
No, definitely not. Also antibiotics. These are obviously sometimes necessary, but it can take our body months and even years for our gut to recover from a course of antibiotics, as they wipe out all the good gut bacteria, don't they?
Yeah, so I'm not poo-pooing antibiotics at all. They most certainly have their place. They can save lives. They can allow people to recover from some horrendous infections. However, they do not discriminate between the good and the bad bacteria. So if there's one particular bacteria that is causing you a problem, it's not targeting, your antibiotic is not targeting that specific bacteria. They are systemic, which means they just attack all bacteria, which means then that the good guys, those good bacteria, also get hammered. And because the good guys are so slow growing and they eat fibre, you've got to eat an awful lot of fibre consistently to get their population to get back up. Whereas when you eat the sugar and the refined carbs, the yeasts and the bad bacteria that eat the sugar grow very, very quickly, and they will just repopulate your gut very, very quickly after you've had antibiotics. So often people get some real horrendous gut issues after they've had even a 5 to 7 day standard course of antibiotics. I would always follow that with at least a 3-month course of pro and prebiotics to get that bacterial balance back. But it can take up to 2 years to recover just after one course of antibiotics. It's really significant.
Huge, isn't it?
Yeah, massive.
Also alcohol. Too much alcohol can kill the good guys as well.
It's also full of sugar. It's feeding that yeast.
Stress weakens our immune system, impacts our gut health. a weakened immune system as well, because it makes it much harder to fight off. Any one of these factors on its own might not necessarily be enough to knock the balance off, but if you're dealing with more than one, then it could become a bit of a problem for you. So oral health is hugely important. So some tips for good oral health. Firstly, tongue scraping. Does anybody do this? No.
Me.
Well done. I don't have a tongue scraper yet, but I am gonna invest in one. I haven't up until now, stupidly, because I just think I have just thought it sounds weird, and I'm a bit like, oh, I don't really want to see. It sounds a bit weird, but you know, nobody else is going to see it. It's only me.
No, it's really easy as well if you just do it as part of your normal oral health routine. You brush your teeth, you scrape your tongue. I've got a fantastic toothbrush that I can't bring myself to throw out, because the back of it, the reverse of the actual toothbrush head, has a fantastic tongue scraper on it. So I don't use it to brush my teeth anymore, but I use the reverse of it to do my tongue scraping, and it's amazing, and it makes such a difference. And especially if you suffer from bad breath, getting that build up, that slight slimy coating that just builds up naturally throughout the day on your tongue, getting rid of that can really, really help.
Where did you get your toothbrush from?
I think it's just a bog standard supermarket buy. It wasn't anything fancy. I think it's an Oral-B toothbrush, actually.
Right.
It's not anything special. It just has this kind of stippled effect on the reverse of the toothbrush head, and I just find that for me is fantastic for just lifting off that coating that sometimes builds up that I get. It's really good.
I shall have a look. So over time we can get a build-up of bacteria and dead cells in our tongue, which can cause bad breath, and obviously it can have an impact on our overall health as well. Tongue scraping benefits are improved sense of taste, improved appearance of the tongue, removing bacteria, and improving breath, all of which can improve general health. Oil pulling. So this is commonly used in Ayurvedic medicine to help promote good oral health. It's a good way to promote oral health by drawing out any toxins, and it can help to clean and brighten the teeth naturally, strengthens our gums and our jaws and our teeth. It can also help prevent bad breath and bleeding gums. I actually did it this morning. I'm just about to talk about the oil. So peppermint, melaleuca and myrrh would be good oils to pull with. They are effective against bacteria, and also clove, because it has such good oral health properties. Lemon or on guard would be good as well. So to oil pull, we get a tablespoonful of oil, pop a couple of drops of essential oil in, and swish it around your mouth for about 10 minutes minimum, I would say. And you're best to do it first thing in the morning, as soon as you get up if you can, so you can do that while you're kind of going about your normal morning routine. Be sure to spit the oil into the bin and not down the sink. One, so you're not clogging up the drain with oil, and two, so that any nasty, yucky stuff that you're drawing out of your mouth are just going straight into the bin and not going down into the water system. And then just rinse with warm water and brush your teeth. So you're best to use sesame oil, is that right? That's what I found out anyway.
You can. There's different oils you can use, and obviously taste is a massive factor for a lot of people. I actually prefer coconut oil just because of the flavour. I really like coconut oil, and I find it's less of a kind of, if this makes sense, sticky oil in my mouth, because actually I don't brush my teeth afterwards. So I would do it probably in the evening, and I would do it maybe after my dinner. So I probably have a couple of hours before I would brush my teeth for bedtime, and I use coconut oil, but I don't find that I get a super oily film left with it. And sometimes I'll add some essential oil into it, sometimes not. Coconut oil itself's great because it's antibacterial, but clove is fantastic if you've got any gum disease. Clove's kind of your classic, almost old-fashioned style of treatment for tooth problems and gum infections. So absolutely ideal if you want to add some essential oils in. But yeah, just as Kirsty said, make sure you spit it out into a bit of kitchen roll or something and pop it in the bin, because coconut oil also solidifies at room temperature. So you definitely don't want that blocking your sink.
I used sesame oil this morning, and I have to say it wasn't my favourite thing.
Try the coconut, it's really good. Yeah, it's definitely a flavour thing for me. I have to say I prefer the coconut.
It was really hard. And then all day, you know, when I've gone into the food bin, I can smell the damn sesame oil.
Yeah, coconut's not got as strong a taste or as strong a smell. You'll be okay.
Nice things, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. But there's just so many amazing benefits, because we forget that the inside of the mouth and the lips are what's called a mucous membrane. So they're actually a lot more porous than the like skin that we have on our face and the rest of our bodies. And by doing the oil pulling, we can draw out the toxins that are in the tissues in the mouth. So the cheeks, the tongue, the gums, and actually even the teeth themselves, because they're porous too. So that means the bacteria is also getting into the teeth through the pores, and you can start cleaning that all out and drawing the toxins out of those tissues into the oil, which is why you definitely want to spit, because you don't want to swallow and then have to have your stomach acid and your other gut bacteria dealing with all of those toxins that you've just drawn out. You definitely want to spit your oil out.
Yeah. Also, fluoride-free toothpaste. This is a personal preference for many people. I choose to use it because I know it can cause fatigue, which I learned from Claire, and it calcifies your pineal gland, which is responsible for our circadian rhythm, produces melatonin, and we just don't. And from a spiritual point of view as well, you know, it's not something that you want. I just want mine to be free.
Fluoride, I have to say, is a bugbear of mine. I can get on my soapbox about fluoride because, yeah, the fatigue thing, the fact that it binds to your receptors on your cells for your thyroid hormone. Thyroid hormone is all to do with your metabolism. So if your receptors are all blocked up, you just get fatigue, you get really, really tired. Your body just can't do all of the normal processes that it would do. So yeah, it's one of my bugbears. And then the connection with the melatonin, your circadian rhythm, your quality of sleep, it's just not worth it. And we do know that fluoride is toxic at a certain level. And for me, I just don't know how we can have recommendations to say, yeah, a fluoride toothpaste is absolutely fine. The dose is low enough that it's not toxic. If you're using it twice a day, every day, and swallowing it, even inadvertently through brushing your teeth, how that does not build up to a toxic level in the body anyway, that we know we start getting some more serious side effects from it. So if you are able to get a fluoride-free toothpaste, I would highly recommend definitely getting a fluoride-free one.
Just ask something, please. Is that okay? My little boy's had fluoride painting on the back of his teeth. On his back teeth, he's actually had fluoride painted on there at the dentist.
Yes, the dentist will recommend fluoride and fluorided toothpaste all the time, because when you start getting decay, the fluoride starts to combat that. So it's added into drinking water, it's added into toothpaste, because the idea is that the general public don't actually brush their teeth a lot. We eat lots of refined carbs and sugar. We're just slowly rotting our teeth away, and that is one way to start getting all of that under control. But for people that really do look after their oral health and they're wanting to avoid some of the side effects like the fatigue and sleep issues, having fluoride in their water and in their personal products like their toothpaste is not going to help. Having a coating on the teeth for kids can be very helpful if decay has already been noticed, and for especially when you've got baby teeth, keeping them in the mouth for longer to the point then where the adult teeth can grow in can help. Changing your toothpaste though can also hugely help to make sure you're actually getting the proper minerals into the teeth. So we forget that our teeth, because of the pores in the teeth, the enamel's made up of minerals. So you want your toothpaste to actually have the minerals in it and create the right pH in the mouth, so that you're not just creating an acidic environment, because one, that'll change the bacteria community that's in the mouth, causing you things like bad breath, tonsil stones, swollen tongues, allowing that yeast overgrowth to give you the coating. You want to avoid all that. So really, when you brush your teeth, and I actually did a whole talk on this myself, the whole reason we want to clean our teeth is actually to address the mineral levels and alter the pH so it's not acidic. So we're basically not wearing away the tooth enamel all the time. That's what it comes down to. So yeah, definitely, if you've got decay, fluoride is helpful, but if you've not, I would stay away from it.
Because he hasn't, the dentist made a note about how well his teeth, how clean his teeth were. He was quite shocked, because most of the kids where we live have hardly got any teeth at all. But it was terrible. And he was like, oh, who cleans his teeth? I said, well, we do it together. He says, they're absolutely immaculate. I'm just going to cover him in fluoride.
Yeah, it's probably just standard practice. And if, as you say, the majority of kids that come in to see them have exactly the same problem, they'll just roll out the same thing to everybody.
Yeah.
They may well get an extra payment from the NHS for it, who knows.
And the other thing is as well, he told him not to rinse his mouth after he's cleaned his teeth. So basically spit, but don't rinse.
Yeah, that can help. So that will retain some of the minerals that are in the toothpaste in the mouth, and therefore it means that they get into the teeth. But there's some other, there are, without getting into too much detail about toothpaste specifically, there are some other ingredients in certain toothpastes that prevent the minerals actually entering the teeth. But yes, actually not completely swirling the water around and doing a complete washout right at the end does keep some of the minerals and the pH balancing element in the mouth after the teeth have been brushed.
Sorry, Kirsty, hijacking your Zoom.
No, not at all.
I just wondered if there were any children's toothpaste that you can buy that's fluoride free, because obviously you get given all these different toothpastes that are full of fluoride for them.
Yeah, I actually, I use Allodent. I changed last year. I had a lot of problems with, I actually had to get root canal treatment, and my teeth were really sensitive. Hated going to the dentist as well. And I was advised to try the oil pulling, which I haven't tried yet, but fluoride-free toothpaste was the other thing. So I switched to Allodent, which Allodent, it's like aloe vera, but you can buy them that's got coconut in it as well. And they do have a children's one, because I think I sent that on to Kirsty. I can't remember what flavour it is for children. But I switched to that, and my teeth are definitely not as sensitive as what they were before. It's like night and day. And I know I've gone back a couple of times, I've used fluoride toothpaste, and I can definitely tell the difference within a couple of days. It's back to my teeth being sensitive again, so it's definitely helped me.
Right, thank you, that's very helpful.
Yeah,
Claire, you had mentioned as well about tooth powders, didn't you?
Yes, so I've been trialling a tooth powder. So it's a clay-based powder rather than a toothpaste. I started, I think, in beginning of May maybe, using it because I got my wisdom teeth taken out a couple of years ago, and they cracked one of my front teeth. And then at the beginning of this year, I was just sitting eating an almond, and I crunched through the side of one of my other teeth, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm mid-30s, what is going on with my teeth? Like, I've got old lady teeth, they're starting to crumble and break off, and I'm having chunks come off them. And I just thought, I'm obviously still doing something not right. And I was using a fluoride-free toothpaste. I was using a brand that I've had no issue with in terms of what it's been doing and how it's been cleaning my teeth. But what I realized was that my teeth started going see-through, and I've actually got a crack in one of the front teeth, and it was getting more and more obvious because the enamel was clearly wearing away, and you could see the fissure, the crack in it. so I decided, right, something serious needs to happen about my oral health. Like, what am I going to do? So I've been doing my tongue scraping, I've been doing my oil pulling, and then I decided, right, I'm going to try something completely different in terms of my toothpaste. So I changed to this clay-based toothpaste, and basically it has all the minerals I need within the powder that my teeth need to generate and create enamel and build it back up. And because it's clay-based, it changes the pH, so it changes it from being really acidic back to more kind of neutral and alkali. So it creates a good environment in the mouth for the right bacteria to survive, and it also allows for the minerals to get back into my teeth without any of those ingredients in it that block and coat the teeth, that stop the minerals getting back in. And you cannot see the crack that's in my front teeth now. So I've already seen the enamel starting to build up. My teeth are getting whiter very slowly, but they're getting whiter just with the minerals going back in from the tooth powder. It's been fascinating to see. They feel better. Like, even when I'm chewing, like, they feel stronger. Like, I feel like I can get more of a bite down onto things like nuts without having to worry that I'm going to shear half a tooth off like I've done in the past. Yeah, much better. It's so important to get what works for you for your oral health.
Definitely. Okay. So that's part of what it says down the It's that time.
Yeah, it is. And it's all to do, like, I know when I talk about gut health, like, I've had so many problems in the past with my own gut health. So for me, I used to wake up every single morning with stomach cramps. And I just thought that was normal. I thought everybody woke up and their stomach and their intestine just went gnarl, and felt like they were tied in a knot. Turns out, no, that's not normal. I've learned that. Not normal. And then all of the upset stomachs and gas. And at one point, so going back to what we were talking about in terms of yeast, so I used to have a horrendous yeast overgrowth. So I used to have a coating on my tongue, but the majority of the yeast was actually in my intestines, and I used to bloat to the point where I looked like I was 9 months pregnant. It was so severe. The gas, the embarrassing moments with the gas as well, or when you're sat in a meeting at work and you're just trying to hold because you're so big and you can feel the pressure building and you're just like, oh my goodness, please don't have this come out at a really inopportune moment. And then even things like going places, so almost to IBS, IBD symptoms, where you'd be going somewhere, I'd be on the bus, I'd be heading into town, and my belly would like burble, like roll, you know, that feeling when you're like, oh gosh, something's moving. It's not imminent, but it's going to be. And you almost get like the fear sweats, the panic, like, when am I getting off the bus? Where is the nearest toilet? Like, that is all that's running through your head at that point, isn't it? It's like, oh my goodness, where is the nearest toilet that I'm not in a queue for? Like, where are the nearest coffee shops that I know have lots of cubicles? There's going to be one free. It's going to be really low risk. I'm going to get into a cubicle and I'm going to be fine. And that was my life for so many years. And I just thought that was absolutely normal, and it really isn't. And then I've had some clients come to me and say, I always ask, what are your toilet habits? I try not to say, are you regular? Because a lot of people go, yeah, I'm regular. And I'm like, okay, how regular is regular? Once every 4 days. I'm like, I'm sorry, once every 4 days only? Whoa, you've got a backlog. They're like, but that's regular for me. I'm like, that's not enough. we're not cleansing the system enough. Your detox capability is significantly impaired, because we forget as well that part of the reason we form stools is because we're binding up not only dead bacteria that's in the colon that needs to come out. Our colon walls actually have toxins that the body wants to get rid of come through them, and then we bind them up in our stool and then we eliminate them. If you're not eliminating, all that happens is those toxins get reabsorbed, and then it goes through your liver again, and your poor body's having to cope and reprocess all of these toxins. So yeah, going to the bathroom needs to be for that number 2, it does really need to be at least once a day for proper detox capability. And you want to, has anyone heard, and this is getting a wee into the juicy gruesome bit, but has anyone heard the expression beaching the whale when it comes to number 2s? Beaching the whale.
No, I don't think so.
So this is basically, it's kind of the behaviour of the stool as it comes out and into the pan in the toilet.
Does it need to float?
Floating shows that you've got a lot of fat in it. Beaching the whale is like when it's come up and out the sea and it's come up and beached. So basically the stool's like going down into the pan and almost coming back up again in one nice solid form. And it's partly to do with size and shape and density as well, with all the fibre that's in it. And that is your ideal perfect stool, as if you can beach the whale.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite a skill.
It is quite a skill. And for me, I think for the majority of my life, that was never what happened. I either had a completely runny tummy, so it was diarrhea and often explosive when it was really bad and under pressure from this yeast infection. And then I would swing the other way, so it would be constipation, and it would be really hard pellets, and it would be really painful, and it wouldn't give you that empty feeling as well at the end of it. So when you beach the whale, you feel fully flushed. There's nothing left in there. So it's really interesting. And just going back as well, Kirsty, to what you were saying about the large intestine, how all the water is absorbed there, that is key, because that forms the stool. It dries it out and creates one form with it, and then it actually adds a layer of mucus around it to ease that passage through the large intestine and out into the toilet bowl. So our stools are fascinating, and the amount of fibre we eat really is key for creating that form, because the fibre binds in some water, so it helps to create that form, and the fibre is what binds in our toxins as well. So if we're not eating enough fibre, we definitely get some toilet habit problems and some upset tummies. So it's really, really key to look down in the toilet bowl.
Can I just oh, sorry, it's me again. Hi. I many years ago, I completely relate to you with the one way or the other and nothing in between. But I had colonic irrigations done for quite a long time, and the lady that used to do them said to me that when you've had, I'm just going to say it, when you've had a poo,
yep,
when you wipe your bottom, the paper should be clean.
Yeah, so if you beach the whale and it's got that nice mucus layer around it, it shouldn't be making a mess. So when you wipe, you've pretty much got a clean piece of paper, and you only need to wipe once. Yes.
Yeah.
That is the ideal, but most people don't experience that. Most people don't.
I'm going to hold my hand up and say that I am that girl. I don't have.
Beaching the whale and clean paper.
Yeah. I never used to be, by the way.
It's really difficult to get to that point. It's a combination of different things, of eating the right things. We've talked about stress already, all of the other stressful impacts that you get, drinking enough water, and that microbiome, so that balance of all the bacteria, yeasts, viruses, molds, etc., that needs to be in the right balance to give you that perfect whale that's nicely greased with some mucus for the way out.
This is amazing. I love this.
Yeah, if you don't look in the bowl, you don't know what's going on, do you? So you might be a lot more aware of what's going on up here at this end. So bad breath, tonsil stones, bleeding gums, teeth falling out, rotting teeth, all of the oral health issues. But often we don't see what's going on at the other end. So yeah, we do have to look in the bowl. The color, the consistency, the smell, like they all tell us some really, really important information about what our gut health is, and then we can look at addressing it. So yeah, please do look in the bowl if you're a little bit shy. It's not that scary.
What's the best colour then, Claire? Should it be the colour of Caramac? What's the best colour?
Lovely kind of caramel.
I'm just going to put it out there.
And it actually depends on what you're eating. So there probably isn't an ideal colour. So say you're eating a lot of sweet potatoes or squash, some of the reddy orange vegetables, that colour potentially will keep going all the way through. So you'll get a little bit more of a reddy orange colour to your stool. Normally though, it's a kind of what everyone associates with jobby brown. Everyone know what I mean when I say jobby brown? That really... It's like if you had to look at paint colours, jobby brown would be that really kind of dark brown. But you definitely don't want to paint your walls. And that's partly because of all the dead bacteria that come out with your stool. It does depend on what you're eating, yes.
So when you eat beetroot, then you're not actually dying.
No, you will see some more red, yeah. Just as long as it's not blood, that's fine. If there's blood in your stool, then you definitely want to see your GP, because that's potential problems. So yeah, but if you've been eating some beetroot, I would definitely say that you're probably going to see a reflection in the colour of your stool.
Actually, I don't mind talking about poo. I'm not bothered.
Does anyone have any questions while we're getting into the nitty gritty of poo right now? Does anyone have any poo related questions?
Can I ask about my little boy again?
Of course, yes.
He has to take Laxido every day.
Mm-hmm.
When he was a baby, he used to do 1 poo a week.
Wow, okay,
and we used to have to lay him on one of these, like, you know, like disposable like a puppy pad, but for babies. Mm-hmm. And we just used to take his nappy off and lay him on, and it was literally like a tube of toothpaste. He just pushed a week's worth of poo out.
Wow.
In one go. So they put him on. They thought at the first he got something where the bottom part of the colon doesn't form properly and join with the sphincter, but he had tests for that, and that wasn't the case. And now he takes Laxido. But since we've been vegan and I've been giving him vegan food under the radar, he's been a lot better. I'm only giving him now I'm thinking I might drop it to every other day, or even see the doctor. Because he's a lot better now. But
yeah, if fibre will help.
If we stop, or if he, like for instance, when we went on holiday one year and the changing water made him a bit loose, so we didn't give it him all the while he was on holiday. And when we got home, we thought, oh, maybe he's all right. We didn't give it him, and he was actually screaming. You know, he was in that much pain.
So sore, yeah.
So why is this? What do you think?
So there could be a few different things at play. Diet is certainly one of them. You want enough fibre for a stool to be able to form, but then you're relying on what's called peristalsis, the muscle movement to push that formed stool through the tube that is the large intestine. And sometimes that muscle movement is not there, and that can be because of vitamin and mineral deficiencies, or it can be due to hormonal elements. So myself, I've got autoimmune thyroid disease, and one of the reasons that I love a good enema is because I don't have full muscle movement within my bowel. So actually part of the reason I've had all my gut issues is that my bowel hasn't wanted to push everything through, and it's been so painful, and then had to almost like create an upset stomach just to flush things through, because it then gets stuck. But yeah, it can be different causes for that reduction in the muscle movement to allow for a normal stool to be pushed out. There's also things around, we talk often about sleep hygiene, but there's also an element of toilet hygiene as well, just that routine of going to the bathroom. Lots of people sit reading or on their phones. Oh, sorry, that's my phone. They'll be on their mobile phone on the toilet rather than thinking, flushing thoughts, nice flowing thoughts. Actually, I'm going to pass a stool. They're distracting themselves, and they're then not getting the appropriate signals from the brain to the gut. And we forget that our gut has brain cells in it. It is basically our second brain, and the brain in our head and the brain in our gut communicate through the vagus nerve. And when that's not working properly, that will mean that it's a lot harder for people to go to the bathroom. And certainly if you're distracting yourselves with your phone or sitting with a book or something on the toilet and you're not thinking and connecting with the physical self to get that motion in place, it makes it a lot harder for people to go to the bathroom. And some people just are really nervous toileters. And I have to say, hand up to that. Like, there's got to be so many different things in place. It's got to be quiet. There can't be a big crack in the door. It can't be right next to the living room. The toilet's got to be relatively away from where everybody else is. Like, there's a whole load of things mentally for me that make it a safe place to go for number 2. That sounds crazy.
One of my friends.
That's a woman thing, though. I think that's a woman thing. Because my friend, she says, "Oh, I don't poo at Paul's," and she will literally drive home from work in her dinner hour to go to the toilet. I'm like, are you mental?
Yeah.
Just
so
get it out.
People are nervous toileters, yeah. And obviously that's not great because it creates more stress. That mental and emotional stress, it creates that physical stress in the body because the body's wanting to evacuate and you're going, no, and you're clenching up and holding it. And that's just not good for us at all. So we want to be able to encourage that relaxed, flowing feeling, connect to our back passage and let things flow out naturally and smoothly and beach that beautiful whale. Yeah, there's a few different things. To come back to your question, there are a few different things that can affect that muscle movement, and stress is huge. If you're really, really stressed and that vagal activity along that vagus nerve's not happening properly, or the nervous system isn't working in the right way, you will not get the right muscle movement that allows you to have that gentle flowing stool evacuate from the body.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Just me.
Just you with 2 questions.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna
Yep.
Stop.
So we're here for. We are going to run over a little bit on time, so if anybody does have to leave, we won't be offended. And if you'd like to catch up on the rest of the class, I can send you, if you contact me, I can send you my YouTube link, because I will upload my this class to YouTube if you do have to leave. So, and I'd also just like to welcome Anne and Sunita, who joined just a few minutes ago as well. Thank you for joining us. So when things go wrong, what happens? So some signs to look out for to know that you have, or you may have, an imbalance in your gut. So you're looking at skin issues such as eczema or acne, bloating, constipation, or diarrhea, IBS, hormone imbalance, autoimmune conditions, food intolerances, cravings, weight issues, low immunity. All these things can be a sign, or they might not be. It might be something completely different. But yeah, they can be a bit of a telltale sign that there's something not kind of quite right. So looking after our gut health is obviously important for our overall wellness. If our digestive system's not functioning well, it can lead to many problems for us, including acid reflux, abdominal discomfort, lowered immunity, and improper absorption of nutrients. It's not always just the most obvious symptoms. It's most associated with poor gut health, poor concentration, fatigue, and skin issues can all stem from having an unhealthy gut. As we mentioned earlier, yeast thrives on sugar, so if we have an overgrowth of yeast in the body, it can trigger cravings for something sweet. And it's not just our stomach that we need to, and intestines we need to think about. Our liver, gallbladder, and kidneys all play such an important part too. So what can affect our gut health? Food intolerances, antibiotics, as we spoke about earlier, poor diet, stress, poor sleep and alcohol too, all can have a massive impact. So if we are proactive and looking after our gut health, we can save ourselves further distress and discomfort. So just wanted to share a few ways in which we can do this. Firstly, we need to clean up our diet. Fibre and complex carbs are needed to feed the good bacteria, while sugar and processed foods feed yeast and allow bacteria to grow, so we want to cut down on them. Cut down as much as possible on the sugary and processed foods and eat more veg, healthy fats and lean proteins, more whole foods. Rule of thumb, that the more processed a food is, the less nutrients it's going to have, and the more ingredients that a food has, I think the more kind of
processed. Yeah, it's funny, I did a talk a while back, and I was telling people how bread in the nutrition world is actually what's called an anti-nutrient, and everyone was like, what do you mean bread's an anti-nutrient? It's basically you eat bread and it will use the vitamins and minerals that are already in your body to process it, to digest it and break it down and eliminate. So you actually end up with less vitamins and minerals in the body when you eat bread, so it uses them up, which I just thought was fascinating. And so did a load of other people when I was talking about it, and they were like, an anti-nutrient. Like, yeah, that's what bread's called. Because it's so processed. It's so processed, and that's why you end up with all these so-called foods that are fortified, because they essentially have no nutritional value at all. So they've got to add in a synthetic vitamin and minerals into it to make it seem like it's healthy, because actually by itself it's not. So I always say, eat the rainbow. That is the key. Eat the rainbow and make the rainbow mostly veg. And then you will get all the amazing fiber, loads of carbohydrates still, and lots of antioxidants and other plant nutrients that are amazing for the gut and create a really, really nice environment for your good bacteria to thrive. Because when your good bacteria thrives, it looks after you and you thrive too.
Lovely. We can also tackle our stress levels. So by being aware of what's causing us stress allows us to try and manage it. Chronic stress can lead to high inflammation within the body, which has an impact on our gut health as well as other body systems. If something you are eating is bothering you, start keeping a little food diary. You might potentially have some sort of intolerance, which is triggering other symptoms within your body. And if you do have an intolerance, then I would always recommend going to see somebody like Claire. Have a chat about things. Claire was very helpful for me earlier this year, and I'm working on a few different things to kind of combat these lots of things that I've been lacking in that I didn't even realise. So it's been very fascinating. doTERRA offer a huge range of products that we can use to help promote our gut health. So I've picked a few different oils and some supplements to go over. There's so many to choose from, so I have just picked a few. I obviously can't talk about everything, or we would definitely be here all night.
Oh no,
yeah, celery seed was brought out just like in the last couple of months, wasn't it, Morag? Yeah. And it's, well, I don't eat celery, so I don't really know what celery smells like, but I don't imagine it smells like celery seed oil. It's a very, very strong smell. So in Ayurvedic medicine, celery seed has been used to help with many different ailments, from cold and flu to poor digestion and water retention. Celery seed essential oil can be used to promote and support the digestive and as well as nervous systems. This oil can be used aromatically, topically and internally. And I didn't say earlier, but it's very important to know that whatever we talk about only refers to doTERRA essential oils, because we know that these essential oils are pure, so they are safe to ingest and take internally. It doesn't apply to any other essential oils. So I use celery seed. I take it in a little veggie cap. I always mean to have veggie caps with me so that I can show people, and I don't have them to hand. But these are just little empty capsules that you can pop some drops of oil in. So I take 2 drops, well, I take 1 drop a day to try and promote my digestive health, and it can also help with support your urinary tract too. Lemon. Lemon is obviously, it's a citrus, it's a very cleansing oil. It can help get rid of any kind of build-up of toxins in our body. It supports our immune and digestive system. I like to take a wee drop in a glass of water first thing in the morning to give my digestive system a wee kickstart. And again, this can be used aromatically, topically, internally. It's a very, as I say, it's very cleansing oil, so you can actually use it in your homemade cleaning products as well. Ginger, this is an immune boosting oil, and it helps to cleanse the lymphatic system as well, which is our body's waste drainage system. Ginger can help reduce gas and bloating and nausea when taken internally, and it really can help support our digestion as well. Zengest, this is, so it says digestion, it's recently been renamed in Europe as Zengest. So this is a digestive blend. This is a proprietary blend from doTERRA, put together with the intention of supporting the digestive system. It's a real a powerhouse. Contains anise, peppermint, ginger, caraway, coriander, tarragon, and fennel. So this can be used aromatically, topically, and internally. So you can pop a drop under your tongue. It's quite strong. I'm used to it now, so I don't mind having a wee drop under my tongue. But I feel for me, everybody's different. But the anise and the peppermint in it are quite strong. But you do get used to it. Pamela, I can see you.
Yep. I tried to have it in a glass of water, and I had to hold my nose. It was just disgusting. Much nicer than the roller ball.
I roll it on the bottom of my feet.
Yeah. A lot of people do that if they don't like.
And my stomach.
If they don't like the smell of an oil, you can put it on your feet if you were using it topically. Or if you don't like to pop it in a wee veggie cap.
I also roll it over my tummy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much nicer than drinking it.
If you're really kind of suffering, popping a drop under your tongue is going to be the most effective way to take it. It's going to be fast acting. It's going to get directly into your bloodstream and directly to where it needs to go. You can put an essential oil in your body anywhere, and no matter where you put it, it's going to get to where it needs to go. But if you pop a drop under your tongue, take it sublingually, it's going to hit the spot a lot quicker if you can stand the taste. So this really helps support our digestive system. You can apply it to your tummy, and it can help really relieve bloating.
What?
Also comes in, sorry?
Huh?
Oh.
Oh, I didn't.
So it's also available in soft gels, which are on the image there. So these are really handy if you don't like the taste. And also they're great to have in your bag to carry about with you. And they're much easier to use if you're out and about, if you're going out for something to eat. Maybe you've had a bit of a rich meal. They're quite handy. So supplements, why should we supplement? Quite often nowadays our diet is lacking in the essential vitamins and minerals that we need to keep functioning optimally. The farming methods change, there's variations in the soil, there's no foods in our diet nowadays. Sometimes, being completely honest, we're so busy in life, I kind of struggle a bit to think about meals from a nutritional level. You know, I don't necessarily plan a meal thinking, right, so we've got some protein here, we've got some carbs, and we've got a little bit of that and a little bit of that. quite often it's just whatever we've got. So for me, supplements are a must.
Kirsty, it's really hard to hear you. I don't know if somebody's got their sound on.
Hang on a sec. What chemicals? No, I'm just gonna mute. Not good. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I find it's a bit difficult sometimes to plan meals around specifically healthy. I mean, they probably are all healthy, but I'm not thinking about planning them like that. So for me, supplements is just an easier way to make sure that I'm getting what I need. So supplementation is key to plug the nutritional gaps that we have in our diet, and also to help promote our gut health. Over 70% of our immune system is produced in our gut, so gut health is really important to promoting overall health. So I'm just going to talk about a few of the supplements that doTERRA offer. So these are the lifelong vitality supplements, and these are doTERRA's number one selling product. They are made up of 3 different supplements. There's the Alpha CRS, the XE Omega, and the Microplex. These contain 12 portions of fruit and veg, which is pretty high. So the Alpha CRS is a cellular vitality complex. These help to boost our energy levels. They support mental clarity, brain function, and support us on a cellular level. They provide our body with antioxidants, which provide cellular support to promote healthy aging as well. Within these supplements is a tummy tamer blend to help prevent any kind of stomach discomfort after swallowing them. There's boswellic acid and bromelain, I think, protease enzyme, which helps to support healthy cell function amongst many other health boosting ingredients. The XE Omega, this is the essential oil complex, which actually comes in a vegetarian option without fish oils in it. They are a combination of doTERRA certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils and a blend of land and marine sourced omega fatty acids. The fatty acids are required to support key functions of the body, such as brain development, muscle activity, immune function, joint and cardiovascular health, and they also help to support the brain, the eyes, and the nervous system. Microplex, VMZ, is the food nutrient complex. So these provide us with 22 vitamins and minerals that our body requires daily to support a variety of different functions, including digestion, immune function, metabolism, and bone health. And these have been amazing. I'm not going to talk too much in detail about them at the moment, but I've been using these regularly for a year now, and they have been life-changing for me. I would say they keep me going. So these are Terrazyme and PB Assist. Terrazyme are digestive enzymes. These are used by the body to process and break down our foods and nutrients and convert our food into cellular energy. Our bodies produce digestive enzymes naturally, and we also get digestive enzymes from the foods that we eat, such as fresh raw foods. But sometimes food intolerances can prevent our body from making enough enzymes, or if we're eating a highly processed diet, we're losing enzymes that way, and losing them through cooking as well. So Terrazyme contains 10 active whole food enzymes to support the digestive system. And it also contains betaine HCl, which is important for the breakdown of proteins. PB Assist is a pre and probiotic. We need a balance, as we've talked about, a good balance of good and bad bacteria in the gut to provide us with a healthy gastro tract. PB Assist provides us with prebiotic fibres and 6 billion CFUs, which is colony forming units of probiotic cultures. Many probiotics don't make it to the intestines, but PB Assist, as you'll see in the image, has this they're double encapsulated to allow them to pass through the stomach and get right down into the lower part of the gut, which is where they're needed. And these are free of preservatives, gelatin, wheat, sugar, starch, dairy, and any animal products. I just wanted to highlight this. This is what's known as the cleanse and restore kit. So doTERRA offer these are the products that you need to do a 30-day cleanse, which is something that my team offers twice a year. So I think we're going to be doing one in September, October time. So a cleanse is like a detox for your body, a spring clean kind of. It just kind of, it's like hitting a wee reset button. It helps to reduce toxins, inflammation. It can also help with weight loss as well. And if anybody would like any further information, I can send that on to you. And this is the last slide, and then we'll be done. So I just wanted to run through the options. If anybody is interested in buying oils, then it's easier just to let you know about it just now. So doTERRA offer two prices. They have retail prices and wholesale prices. Retail prices are just as they are, and the price that you see at wholesale prices. You can open up a wholesale account for £24 for a year's membership, and you will get wholesale pricing, which is 25% off the cost of retail. So your membership lasts for a year. It costs £18 to renew after a year. It's sent a free bottle of peppermint essential oil. You have the option to join the loyalty rewards program, where you can receive between 10 and 30% back of every order, over 50 PV in loyalty reward points. You get the option to receive the free product of the month. You can receive your shipping cost back in points. What else? It means if you've got your own account, you can order whenever you like. You don't have to order through me and wait for the oils to come to me and then me to get them to you. And you're also hooked into a lovely little community of like-minded people for lots of support and further information. And you get my ongoing support as well, which is obviously the highlight of it. So if anybody hasn't tried doTERRA oils before and you'd like to, please contact me after the class, and I'll be happy to send you a free sample. At the moment, finishing at just before 11 o'clock tonight, we have the BOGOs, which are doTERRA's buy one get one free offer. So if you're looking to add to your oily collection, or you don't have one and you would like to start, this is a great way to get lots of oils for cheap. So at the moment, if you buy bergamot, you get clementine free. If you buy clary sage, you get laurel leaf free. And if you buy console, you would get a cheer touch and forgive touch free. And the touch range, these come in a little roller bottle, so they're pre-diluted with coconut oil for topical use. So these, I like to have my roller bottles in my handbag, so I've got them when I'm out and about. If you'd like to know any further information on any of those oils, please just ask and I'll let you know. But as I said, they do finish tonight. There's also a summer enrolment promotion, so if you open a wholesale account with a 100 PV order, PV is product volume, so every product has a PV. So 100 PV is roughly about £90. So if you open up an account with a 100 PV order, next month you place a 100 PV LRP order, then in September you will receive 100 PV for free to spend on whatever you like. If you're interested in having a chat about anything, we can arrange a wellness consultation and chat through anything that you're working through. You could host a class if you wanted, gather some like-minded friends, and I will teach an online class for you. As I say, contact me after the class if you'd like to know any more, have any other questions, or if you'd like a free sample. What else? I think that's everything. Yes, so I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see everybody. Hi. Thank you all for speaking through. Does anybody have any questions?
It was really interesting.
Yeah,
Enjoyed it.
thank you, Kirsty.
It's always fun talking about poo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
You mentioned about putting them on your skin, the ginger one on your tummy. Does the oil penetrate then? Does it go into your bloodstream? Yeah.
Yes.
So if you've got tummy ache, for instance, a bit of bloating.
You would use a carrier oil.
Carrier oil, yeah.
To use them on your to use oils topically, but yeah, you can put on your tummy. And like I said, you could put an oil on your foot if you wanted. If you didn't, I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't put it on your tummy if you had bloating. But no matter where you put it, it's going to get to. If you put it on your foot, it's going to get to your tummy. They go. Because they're natural, they come from plants, and plants are natural. They're known, they're known to our bodies. Our bodies recognise them, so they work with our body. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
It does really work on your tummy as well. I've seen me sometimes if I'm going to bed and I kind of think, oh, and I just roll it round. And I mean, you certainly wouldn't wear it as a perfume, but but it's fine when you're going to your bed, and it definitely works quite quickly.
I think it's She said that she puts it in her food, the ginger oil.
Yes, you can cook. Yeah, you can cook any of the oils that you can take internally. You can cook with.
So you just put a drop on your dinner.
When you're using oils for cooking, I would always recommend using a toothpick to start with, because doTERRA's essential oils are very, very potent. So one cup of peppermint would be one drop of peppermint is the equivalent of 28 cups of peppermint tea. So they're very, very potent. So you only need a very, very small amount. So, I mean, the oils come in either 5 ml or 15 ml bottles. A lot of people think they're quite small, but in that bottle, there's about 250 drops in that bottle. And if you think you're only using like 1 to 3 maximum at a time, they last for ages and ages. But yeah, you can use them in cooking. But yeah, I would use a toothpick and just a little bit of oil, and just gradually, you can build it up and build it up. But sometimes, like oregano, for example, is super strong. I mean, if you like the taste of it and you want everything to taste like pizza, then fine. But yeah, you do have to be careful.
Would you use oils instead of using oregano?
Yes, I do.
Would you?
Yeah.
And is there a benefit to that? Is it better for you, or is it just that you've got it, so that's what you use?
Oils are much more powerful than the actual herbs. You're probably not going to get a huge amount of therapeutic benefits from them, because when these are not oils that you would heat. You wouldn't put them like in an oil burner or something, because when you heat them up, you change the chemical constituents, so you're going to lose the therapeutic benefits as they heat. You can, when you're adding them to cooking, a lot of people try and add them towards the end, so that
so you're not heating it so much.
But yeah, I've got we have rosemary, basil, and oregano in the kitchen. Star anise, I used that the other night. We had a stir fry, and turmeric. Just got that recently. Nice.
Interesting. That the oil, the like the ones that you'd normally just buy the dried herbs from the supermarket and chuck in.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Can I ask you something, Claire? I don't know, I think I maybe spoke to you about this before, because I think you were on another Zoom call, but I had my gallbladder out 2 years past January, and since having my gallbladder out, it has really affected me having to run to the toilet. Which I know they did say that may happen. They said it might it might last for a few weeks, it might last for 6 weeks, it might last for like every other day now, and it's something that I just need to get used to. Is that right?
It can be, and it can be related to why your gallbladder was taken out in the first place. So a lot of the time people end up with an inflamed gallbladder. So there's this localized inflammation specifically within the gallbladder, which then means that it's causing you pain and a whole load of other problems, and it then gets removed. But sometimes that inflammation is not just within the gallbladder itself, it's also systemic. So it means that those inflammatory factors are actually circulating around the body, and the tissues around where your gallbladder would have been inflamed already, and then after surgery they are having localized inflammation just to heal. So that can irritate and cause additional inflammation for the gut. Equally, the gallbladder produces a whole load of factors that are used for part of the digestion process. And if you've not amended your diet slightly because of that, that can also cause evacuation issues. So there can be some different causes within that. But yes, having your gallbladder out can definitely affect you needing to run to the bathroom, or any urgency of needs that you feel. Yes.
I just wondered, because my sister had her gallbladder out 4 years ago, and she's been fine, and yet I've had mine out, and it's just been like an absolute nightmare since. But and I know that just before, my dad was diagnosed with motor neuron, but before he was diagnosed with motor neuron, he was actually rushed into the hospital, and they thought it was his gallbladder as well. So there's obviously a history of it in the family.
Predisposed, and that could be genetic, a predisposition that's genetic based, or there can be elements within your diet and your lifestyle that are adding to that inflammation, which is then aggravating the inflammation that's been there from the reason that your gallbladder was inflamed in the first place, and then from the surgery. So you could look at your diet and some lifestyle factors in order to start calming that down. And that can be a whole host of things. It could be food intolerances, so actually things that are inflaming the digestive tract. It could be that actually you just need to take a lot of anti-inflammatories and antioxidants to start getting that level of inflammation down, because it's just so high all the time, so that you're extra sensitive. It could be that you're not digesting things properly, so your digestive enzymes are out of whack, and actually that's adding to your digestive system aggravation. So there's lots of different ways that you can start delving into that and approaching it to see if things will help. So definitely something to think about, making some even subtle changes and then seeing how that affects your toilet habits.
I've got the Lifestyle Vitality supplements. I'm on my second month now, so they are helping, but it's just, as I say, sometimes, and I know myself, I've been in shops where and obviously just now it's like a bit of a nightmare anyway, where it's been really busy, and I've started to like panic, and then I suddenly think I need to go to a toilet, and I need to get myself out of this shop, and it needs to be quick, it needs to be now. No, that's fine. I just wondered.
It's always difficult when you're in that situation, and it brings on the fear, and it's also maybe how you want to manage that and what things you want to put in place. And one of the big things with stress, and then getting into that kind of cycle with the thinking about it mentally, which then obviously goes down the vagus nerve to the gut, is using some like mindfulness techniques to try and calm the mind, which calms the vagus nerve, which then sends the signal of calm and relax down to the gut, which can also stem off some attacks because it calms the inflammation from that angle too. So lots of different things that you could try.
And would that happen with like an underactive thyroid as well? Because I think that's what I spoke to a nutritionist probably about a year ago, and she reckoned that just by me doing like my sort of temperature check in the morning, that I had an underactive thyroid.
Yeah, so doing a basal temperature check is a real easy at-home way of figuring out whether your thyroid is working at full pelt. And for a lot of women, they either have just an underactive thyroid or they have autoimmune underactive thyroid. And that causes huge problems with your nerve function, so the connection between the mind and the gut through the vagal nerve. It has huge issues for how your gut microbiome sits and all of the toxins. The majority of people have some sort of leaky gut, which we haven't even touched on tonight, but it's where the gut lining actually is essentially perforated at a molecular level. So there's partially, rather than fully digested food getting into the bloodstream that's causing inflammation, because the immune system's then having to deal with it. And then your metabolism element to it. So when you end up looking at the thyroid, it affects everything because it's that metabolic center for the body. So it has huge repercussions, and it can take quite a while to get that kick started again, depending on what the issues are. And because of all the gut issues and the toxin issues that go along with it, all of your nutritional profile tends to be off. You'll end up with deficiencies in quite a few vitamins and minerals because of all of that. So you kind of end up with this complete like round robin of things when you start getting the thyroid involved, because that's exactly what I had Hashimoto's, which is the thyroid, the autoimmune version of thyroid disease, underactive thyroid, and you just end up with every problem going. So yeah, it's figuring out then from that where you start and what's going to be the best first step for you. So if you do want to talk about that further, give me a shout though.
Okay.
Anything else from anybody?
No, thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you all so much for joining.
Thank you, Kirsty. That was
Thank
awesome.
And I haven't actually planned my next class, which will be in 2 weeks, but I don't know what it is. So just keep an eye out for my post. I will update you as soon. Thank you for joining, Anne. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody else. I'll keep you updated.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take
See you
care.
again.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
ever so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you, Claire.
Bye.